Free agency rumors are continuing to escalate for the Toronto Maple Leafs as a recent writer and report has revealed that the Toronto Blue Jays are predicted to land a major free agent. We're going to break down exactly who that is and what the report entails. We also have some very encouraging award details for Vladimir Guerrero Jr. He won Comeback Player of the Year. So we're going to have a ton to break down today, so make sure you stay tuned for all of it on this episode. But before we get into it, quick reminder to hit the subscribe button. If you're part of the 70% who aren't subscribed to the channel, this is the place to be for daily Jays content. And as the rumors continue to heat up and tons of more news is going to be dropping throughout the entire offseason, we'll have you covered. So this is the place to be. But let's dive right into it. Tons to go over today, and we're going to start with not the Vladimir Guerrero Jr. stuff, but a new article that dropped, and it says Dodgers $71 million star predicted to join Blue Jays in blockbuster signing. And you guys are going to be very familiar with who this player is. And again, there's been tons of rumors going around showing who the Blue Jays will sign. And the World Series starts tomorrow, so no signings are going to go down yet until that's over with. But it's nice to see that this writer has the Blue Jays predicted to sign Teoscar Hernandez. And you see this here. Los Angeles Dodgers will take on New York Yankees. We all know that. The World Series starts tomorrow. While predicting where Dodgers free agents will land, fan-sided Zach Presnell predicted that Teoscar Hernandez will sign with the Toronto Blue Jays. Jack Flaherty, Hernandez, and Joe Kelly could all be headed back to their former teams. The Toronto Blue Jays need an outfielder to play center field, and Hernandez fits their culture, play role, and winning attitude. Now, I guess he meant to say right field, not center field, but obviously Dalton Varsho's playing center field, and he meant to say corner outfielder. But regardless, Teoscar Hernandez is going to be a big target for the Toronto Blue Jays. And again, whether this guy has sources or not is still up in the air, but he did drop an article, and his prediction was, and that's now like the third or fourth writer that's predicted Teoscar to sign with the Toronto Blue Jays. And me and Peter have been on record saying it seems fairly unlikely at this point that the Jays actually land Teoscar Hernandez because of how many chances they've had to get him. You think back now to a couple years ago in 2022, after they made the trade at that deadline, there were talks about him potentially in 2023, when they were going to get traded from Seattle Mariners to the Toronto Blue Jays. There were rumors that and we were live on this channel. We were live streaming the trade deadline right up until the trade deadline ended. There were rumors that the Blue Jays were pursuing a trade for Teoscar Hernandez, not last year, but the year before in 2023. And then this year, in the last year's offseason, there was also predictions that the Toronto Blue Jays would look to sign Teoscar Hernandez. Of course, he ultimately went to the Los Angeles Dodgers. So there's just a lot of different things here that are going on with Teoscar Hernandez and linking Teoscar to the Toronto Blue Jays. Again, whether it was 2 years ago, last offseason, all these different things. But now he's kind of found a home with the Los Angeles Dodgers, and they're obviously in the World Series now. Teoscar Hernandez wants to win, and that's ultimately what he is hoping to do with the World Series, and that's starting obviously tomorrow. But when you're looking at Teoscar Hernandez in general, very good player, having a breakout year with the Los Angeles Dodgers. Not a breakout year in the sense of he didn't have great years with the Blue Jays, but he had a couple down years. Specifically, his last year with the Seattle Mariners wasn't exactly what the Mariners expected when they traded Eric Swanson and Adam Macko to the Jays for him. But after that, of course, this season with the Los Angeles Dodgers, we saw his huge grand slam in the playoffs. We've seen his ability in the playoffs to hit for power. We've seen, again, he's a lot more sheltered with this Los Angeles Dodgers team than he ever really was with the Blue Jays aside from the 2021 season. But bringing him back would be a phenomenal idea if you're the Toronto Blue Jays. Again, he began his career with the Blue Jays before being traded to the Mariners and eventually signing with the Dodgers. This is obviously a one-year, $23.5 million deal with the Dodgers, or some of it deferred. He was named an All-Star and hit a career-high 33 home runs. And this part is very interesting. So SpotTrack, a service and a website that predicts contracts, projects Hernandez to sign a 3-year, $71 million deal in free agency. As much as the Dodgers would like him back, they may view shortstop as a bigger need and will try to spend on Willy Adames or another premier shortstop. So this is a very interesting one, because when you're looking at this and leave in the comments what your thoughts are, would you sign Teoscar to a 3-year, $71 million deal? He is in his 30s now, but he's coming off of a career-high 33 home runs. And if you're the Toronto Blue Jays, I think I would entertain a 3-year, $71 million deal. We're looking at this core now. Hopefully they're going to extend Vladimir Guerrero Jr., and they have some other guys. But over the next 3 to 4 years, or really 2 to 3 years, you're going to be back in your window, hopefully, and trying to compete. Now, there is a world where they go the rebuild route. And, of course, if they go the rebuild/retool route, they're probably not going to sign Teoscar Hernandez, a win-now player, to $71 million over 3 years. But that seems fairly light. That's about a bit less than 23. It's about $23-ish million per year here. And at $23 million a year, you can do a lot worse than Teoscar Hernandez. And it's not like you're signing him to a 5 or 6 year deal. We look at some of the other free agents like Alex Bregman and players of that type who are projected to get 5, 6 years, well over $150 million. I saw a prediction for Bregman, of 8 years, $200 million. So when you're looking at aging players, a 3-year, $71 million deal would be absolutely phenomenal. And obviously his defense leaves some things to be desired, and that's always going to be a knock for him. But if you have, you have George Springer on right in theory, so you put Teoscar in left field, or wherever you want to mix these guys up, whether you place George Springer still in an everyday role or not. You have Varsho in center field, who is the best outfielder and the best defender in all of baseball. You can really work this out here and make it really, really solid. And I like the idea of this a lot. We've discussed it a bunch on this channel, but it is nice to see that a star in Teoscar Hernandez is projected to join the Toronto Blue Jays, according to a bunch of different writers now. Getting my hopes up a little bit, even though at the end of the day, it'll be interesting to see if this is the type of player the Jays want to pursue. They desperately need to bat in the middle of the lineup, and that is exactly what Teoscar Hernandez brings. So let me know in the comment section down below what your thoughts are on a Teoscar Hernandez reunion. But something else I wanted to touch on was Vladdy winning the AL Comeback Player of the Year, and he obviously put up a phenomenal season, his best one since 2021 for a while there, and throughout a lot, and most of the season, he hit better than he did in 2021. He had obviously a really rough start, but it's nice to see him get recognized for his awards. You think about, or for his performance, sorry. You think about back in 2021 when he had that great MVP caliber season. He finished second in runner-up MVP voting to Shohei Ohtani, and he would have won the MVP if Shohei Ohtani wasn't, in the league, quite frankly, or if he wasn't the best player we've ever seen, is a better way to put it, because he was pitching and hitting that year. Obviously, right now he's just hitting for the Dodgers, but what a win for the Blue Jays here, and having Vladimir Guerrero Jr. bounce back, because ultimately his bounce back season is going to be something that the Jays kind of forget about, because ultimately, or what a lot of fans may forget about because of how bad the season was. They were 74-88 last year, but seeing him get recognized for this award will probably go a long way for him, just to feel good about the season that he had, despite not being able to carry this abysmal team to the playoffs. And it's good that he won it. He definitely deserves it, especially coming off of a very poor 2023 season and a bit worse, since the 2021 year. So overall, a very nice award to win, and I'm just happy for Vladdy that he'll be able to get this. That being said, the Jays need to extend him and get him locked up for the foreseeable future, because if they don't, a lot of these conversations we're having about free agents, trades, all these things aren't going to matter if they cannot lock down Vladimir Guerrero Jr. One other thing I wanted to touch on is the attendance number during the 2024 season. It released, and it was pretty low, and it took a bit of a hit. We might have another video covering this in more details, but basically their attendance drop off was by 11.8% compared to the previous year. And a lot of that was due to the Jays not being able to win games, maybe going with a bit more of a boring play style, because you think about it, they have all these new Rogers Center renovations. Fans should be piling to the crowd. The arena is very good. It's very new. It's very modern. And if you've been there, I was there last season, a lot of great things. But their team and the product on the field, no matter how good the renovations were, it does not matter, because the team was very bad. They weren't able to make the playoffs. And ultimately, again, I was at the Rogers Center. The renovations were phenomenal, but it's not trending in a good direction surrounding the attendance. But if they can make a couple moves, starting with a guy like Teoscar Hernandez, that'll go a long way towards that goal of hopefully getting the attendance back to where it was before, one of the best in baseball. Let me know in the comments what your thoughts are on this. Make sure to hit the subscribe button for daily Jays content. We'll see you soon.